Hey, what's going on, everyone? Justin again, as always. Thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. Cheers to those of you that have your beers. I hope you're enjoying your work week so far. Today's discussion topic is going to be, what kind of toolboxes do dealership techs have? And are they all Proline series? Let's discuss it today, and we'll talk about some of the ins and outs of why some of these guys went with certain boxes and why I went with the box that I went with. Before we do, make sure to be a bud and grab some suds. You can do so by tapping that little beer mug in the bottom right hand corner. We'd appreciate it, because that makes you a subscriber, and being a subscriber is pretty awesome. But don't tap it too hard, because if you do, you might just spill it all over your new kicks. Next thing you know, you're having to find some kind of shoe cleaner, right, rags. I'd hate to say throw them outside to dry, because then who knows, a dog takes off with it and he's running around the yard. Next thing you know, you're chasing him with only one shoe on. But at any rate, just don't spill it, am I right? Alright, make sure to hit that little notification bell if you want to be notified when I post my next Mechanical Insight video, tool review, or you just simply want to hang out with us on TGIF, or maybe you're curious if I have an upcoming how to repair video. Be it that it may, you must hit the bell so you can be notified when I post my next video. So do so. Alright, that being said, let's roll right into today's discussion topic. The first box is going to be an OG toolbox. Oh man. You guys know which one I'm getting ready to talk about right now? Some of you might. Some of you are like, what? What's the box, man? That's right. My boy, my brother from another mother, DeWalt, baby. Bumblebee is back. Now, it's not mine, okay? But I have one exactly like it. In fact, this particular person bought his shortly after I bought mine because it was such a great deal. So we both pretty much had the same exact toolbox side by side to each other. You can tell why we're pretty much besties, right? So, but at any rate, mine ended up failing after a little while, but it got moved around a lot. I went in between shops for a few times with this one particular dealership that we worked for because they had owned multiple establishments on and off the tow truck. Eventually, the glides broke on me. It wouldn't lock anymore. Drawers were practically falling. It was no good. His has stayed stationary the entire time. So really, the box that I had, God, let's count the years back, shall we? Almost 8 years ago. Yeah, almost 8 years ago. So about 7 years. I'd say approximately 7 years ago. Maybe closer to the 7.5. That's when we bought these boxes. That's when my subscribers told me that it was on sale, and I was able to get it for $250. I think even this particular person, friend of mine, did as well. So we both scored pretty big at the time. His lasted longer than mine, but it's cool to see it again, that's for sure. I did make sure to get approval from every owner of every one of these boxes that we're going to show you here today, as well as approval from my supervisor. So it is okay to share these just in case somebody wanted to know. I did get approval first. Alright, second box. U.S. General cart. So these things are pretty popular. They're pretty popular not just for the guys that are in the level 2s and level 3s as service carts, just to have in between that stall or the one that they're in to have everything at their disposal, but also for our express lane where we have the lube techs doing lube oil filter and tire rotation. So these carts work out best for us at the dealership. Okay, everyone seems to have a love for the Harbor Freight service cart, whether it's the smaller black one like this one or whether it's the blue one like this one. Okay, Mopar blue. At any rate, a lot of guys really thoroughly enjoy these U.S. General carts. Alright, speaking of the U.S. General service carts, there's another one here that is owned by a certified tech. I'm not sure what level this next tech is. I can just tell you that about a year before I left, he came in and now he's still there. So he's been there for many, many years, okay? And I was actually there with him when he bought this toolbox. So there was a Snap-on rep that we had. He took this in on trade. The two pieces are different colors, but all the space was there, and I think he scored it for, I want to say $1,000 or $1,500 for the whole thing. So it was a used box, and he's loved having it. Doesn't have to be the most prestigious box in the entire world to make sure that it's functional and works for you, and he has thoroughly loved it. And if it works, right? He hasn't had any trouble with the glides, loves the space that it provides for him, loves that hutch too. Here's his box. All right, cool. So there you go. Now you see it. This is his entire setup. I think we ended up calling it the Frankenstein. Him and I was joking about it years and years ago. I don't know if he remembers that or not. We called it the Frankenstein though. And he had his U.S. General Service card as well, so he kind of had that tag teaming with his toolbox. But it's really cool that he still has it. I'm just going to say that. All right, the next box. So you guys have seen my box, but here is my box right now where I'm putting it to work, and you can see an example of what I was talking about as far as like if you needed to use the 110 outlet in the front. So usually I have my Zeus plugged in there all the time, dedicated to the docking station. Just until I get the hutch. The hutch isn't in yet. Once the hutch comes, it'll get plugged into the outlet that's built into the hutch. But I had to unplug the Zeus, and I was able to plug the AC machine in because I needed my under hood light to see what was going on, where these ports were to actually hook up the service port valves for the AC machine, and then of course use my UV light and sunglasses, yellow glasses, and whatever. But I used the front of my toolbox as a power source for the AC machine. I did not know if I was gonna like operating completely out of this box versus the way that I originally had it. Now I do miss having a work surface with a vise, a suitable vise attached to it. That part I do miss. I do utilize my toolbox. I would say a third of it is a work surface. But now I've got stacks of ROs kind of like in the middle. I've got the mechanic set, the Capri, and I got the two icon sets of ratchet wrenches and SAE and metric all on top of each other. And then to the left, I've got my Zeus scan tool with the docking station, my ROs, and my time cards. And then kind of like right in the middle is some miscellaneous stuff that I didn't really have anywhere to put it until I get the hutch, so I could put stuff up on top, or until I get the locker so I could put stuff in the locker. So I'm kind of limited on my room. That part I could live without. But other than that, I think the other thing that I would probably do is get one of these in addition to's. I could put the pry bars in so I actually have drawer space for the ratchet wrenches that I have. Other than that, I have loved having it. In the 3 bays that I'm working out of, I'm pretty much like right in the middle, and I've got one on my right or one on my left that I could jump in and out of. So it's been pretty convenient, and I have the little monster mobile that I just kind of take in between on the fly that I throw parts and random tools on. So, but I do enjoy, I have enjoyed having it. I just wanted to get that across. Okay, I saved the best for last because we had a conversation about it. I did get permission again from my friend, and this is his toolbox. And I'm going to share with you briefly our conversation, or at least certain parts of it. So I was very impressed with the box, okay? I did not know that Husky had a hutch option. They do. I also did not know that they had an end locker option. They do. In total, I think he said it was 80 inches wide and then 10-inch drawer. Deep combination tool chest, roller chest, and matte black 3-piece set. And then of course he gave me the link to the Home Depot page because it's an order online only. And for this whole entire setup is $1,400. That's a steal of a deal if I had to say so myself. Pros, he loves that it gives him a lot of room for the value. He loves it as power bar on the outer right side of the inside of the hutch. The outer side of the toolbox and on the inside of the hutch. He loves the metal pegboard that he has in the inside. Obviously we can't see it because it's closed. At the back of the hutch, as well as the back of the locker door, so you can hang and store things on hooks if you want to. So he loves that. He also likes the soft close feature of the drawers. Cons. He did not like the too long thin drawers. He wished that they were a little bit deeper. He said he really feel like that it would fit some things better. And there are some electrical things that he'd like to lay down, and wrenches and things like that. Also the top long thin one doesn't close as easily as the rest. It has it is a steel box, so when it's rolling it's loud. The doors in the hutch can sometimes get a little bit stuck, and you have to make sure that you're opening it perfectly and perfectly even. So, let's see. Probably my biggest pet peeve though is that the locker, the hutch, and the box portion all come with 3 separate keys and not just one key for all 3. So I had made mention, I said, well, I don't know if it's going to work for your box, but I know that Harbor Freight sells a 5-piece tumbling system of keys for like 20 bucks. And he said, yeah, before I bought the box, I saw someone's review on YouTube and believed that there was a way to get it to be all the same lock, but he just hasn't dealt with it. He said he still has a lot of empty space in it, but he'd be glad to show us around when he comes back. So that's awesome. So maybe we'll get that opportunity. Alright guys, so that's pretty much going to wrap it up for the toolboxes around the dealership. And now I'll share with you my final thoughts and then we'll wrap up today's video. So you guys, if you ever watched the video that I did so many years ago, okay, we discussed every single toolbox, service card, etc. that I have owned throughout the years. This is my I guess, 3rd most expensive toolbox that I've ever owned. Obviously, the first time that I had bought one, I was not in a position to afford the toolbox that I had gotten. That was a mistake. I had made mention of that previously. The second one, which was the Cornwell one, the dislikable features that I had was for what I was paying. I was surprised at how thin the metal was overall, and I was even a little bit upset when the drawer glides initially had failed based on the weight from the sockets that I had within the first couple of weeks of owning it, and I had to wait for warranty glides to come in. And the last thing that was my pet peeve about that Cornwell box is that Cornwell had been bouncing back and forth to different toolbox manufacturers, making it almost impractical and impossible to get anything warrantied out, not to mention the fact that we no longer have a Cornwell representative. There was a fellow follower of ours that did reach out to me on Instagram, and I have to forward the information over to Shane, but apparently there is websites that you can go to order these parts. But at the time, this piece of information was not present, and I got rid of that box. And I went with the US General, and I didn't look back, and I had a couple of MATCO service cards in between. For what it was that I was doing at the independent shop, I would have left everything the exact same way, and I would not have bought this big MATCO toolbox. I didn't have a need for it. Everything was functionally working the way that I wanted it to. Now at the dealership, everything is working as functionally as I possibly can be with the amount of space that I actually have. I have enjoyed this toolbox so far, but there are certain features and benefits of having a cart and a storage thing that I did miss, but there's just not enough room for all that, right? So I'm content, and I think once I get the hutch put on there, I'll feel a little bit differently, okay? Because then I can put stuff above it as well as inside of it and close it up. I don't have to keep putting stuff away. I can just toss things in there and close the lid. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up with this because I have questions for you guys too. If you are a dealer tech, an independent shop tech, a lube tech, what kind of toolboxes do you have? Which ones do you find to have the best value? Do you agree with the toolbox selections that not only I've made through the years or that others have made that continually to operate out of the ones that they made those decisions on? Do you like their boxes? Are you happy with being able to see such a variety of toolboxes that are not all Snap-on, MATCO, Cornwell, or Mac? Isn't it nice to be able to see that you too can be a professional dealership technician without having to have the most expensive box in the world? That's what I kind of wanted to take away and give to you guys during this video, was that, again, guys, it doesn't have to be Gucci as fuck in order for it to work. It just has to be practical, fit within your budget, and have the features and benefits that you're looking for in a toolbox. So cheers to those of you that have your beers. I hope you're enjoying your work week. Thanks as always for watching my channel, and we'll see you guys next time. Cheers and deuces.